finanzieren.
85 Jahre auf den Tag genau nach der Pogromnacht. Heute wird es im Bundestag eine Debatte über den Schutz jüdischen Lebens in Deutschland geben. Aus Berlin berichtete Uwe Jahn.
So it is the 9th of November. You can see here 9/11, 11/9. I just wanted to play that blurb for you because this is what I hear every single day on the radio. Jewish people feel threatened. Jewish people are not secure. Jewish people are being terrorized. Jewish people, students at school don't even feel safe enough to go to the toilet without getting beat up. And they're hashing and rehashing the Holocaust. And to me, this is just another expression of spell magic. What they speak, they want to manifest because it's not real. I don't know about you, but I'm not seeing any of what these children of Esau are complaining about. Star of David everywhere, at university, people speaking ill of Esau. I'm just not hearing it, and I'm not seeing it. What I see is just a herd of young people who do what they're told. These young people don't have any understanding at all of what's really going on, and so they just follow the leader. And it's not true what they're saying here on the radio every single day. I just turn it on just out of interest to see what are they talking about now, and it's either Russia and Ukraine, or it's the poor children of Esau. And they were just talking about this Reichskristallnacht. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Esau perpetrated that upon himself, if it even happened at all. You know, why is it that we have to believe whatever we're told, even though it flies in the face of reality? Is that not tyranny? Is that not despotism? And now, of course, we have spies all over the place. They were always there. It's just that now, those who bear false witness will remain protected as the children of Israel are indicted on charges that are fictitious, just like what I've been hearing this morning and yesterday and the day before, ever since, I think it was October, what was it? Was it October 8th? I'm not sure. I know that that's a big occult day. Every day is an occult day here in Mystery Babylon. It is a little bit cooler. I thought this week would be really cold according to the numbers. I don't know why. Last year it was a similar constellation and it was very cold. But, you know, what can we do? What can we do about it? How can we change it? All we can do is try to speak truth against these lies that we keep hearing. You know, these Edomites, they don't care about all the soldiers that fell to provide a blood sacrifice for the foundation of counterfeit Israel. You never hear about those soldiers. They made one tomb for an unknown soldier, and they figure that's all we need to do. A friend of mine who works at a social agency, let's say maybe 2 or 3 years ago, she was telling me that she hadn't stopped crying all morning. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I have to copy all these files of the soldiers that fell during World War I and World War II. And she said there are letters in there and paraphernalia and pictures. And she said, it's just so sad. I said, how? She said, well, she was already on almost I don't remember what she said, 1,000? She said, there are thousands of these files here. You know, do they ever talk about that on the radio? No. You see, so what it really is it is the fictitious story of the Holocaust of Esau against the true story of the fallen soldiers and the shed blood of the children of Jacob Israel. That's the truth. And they know it. That's why they're inculcating us with their I'm thinking German, and I'm trying to say, with just their propaganda about the poor Jews, the poor children of Esau. Speaking of which, I went to get my hair cut the other day, and the owner of the salon is from Turkey, and she is a Muslim. I had only been there once before, and because I used to go get my hair cut by this lady who owned her own salon for years in Hanau. She was 80, but she could still cut hair, and you never would have known she was 80. She was very proud of her figure and her hair, and nobody knew her age. I knew her age because an acquaintance of mine has known her for years. Anyway, this lady, what was her name? Brigitte. She died. I called her and she didn't answer. And then I went by this gal's house that I just mentioned, and she just happened to be outside because I was going to go to Brigitte's house and knock on her door. But I met this Ilona instead, and I said, Ilona, where is Brigitte? Oh, Brigitte died. Well, she had been jabbed up to the gills, and she developed cancer and died. But she didn't suffer long. Anyhow, after Brigitte died, I started going to this other place. To make a long story short, I was talking to this, and she was talking to me, the owner of this shop, the salon, and she's a very proud Muslim. Muslims are very proud. They'll tell you right away, I'm a Muslim. Do you meet how many children of Jacob do you meet that tell you right away, I'm a Christian? Not too many. Anyway, she told me that Islam was the last book because all the other books before that were corrupted, and Islam is the one true book. And the real Bible is sitting down in the basement of the Vatican, or in the abyss, or whatever that is there. And but what the interesting thing was is she told me that they believe in Jesus too. He's a prophet, and they call him Esau. I-S-A, Esau. And I just, for some reason, I've known this. I've known that they call him Esau. But it just struck me the other day, Esau? How cynical of the Talmudic scribes to name Messiah Esau. Really, I mean. The thing is, and there's a couple of problems with this, in my opinion. These arguments that the Muslims will use, they'll say, well, the Bible is corrupted. And I said, I know. And of course, when I said I know, she didn't really, I didn't rebut her, and I wasn't supplying any resistance. So she didn't really know how to respond. I said, yes, it has been corrupted. That's very true, but there is truth in the Bible. And God's truth transcends that printed page, and he will show you the truth. And anyhow, the thing is this: if the Quran is based on the Bible, but the Bible is not true, then the Quran is also not true. And not only that, but if they say it's not based on the Bible is corrupted, why would they be hiding it in the Vatican so that we couldn't read it? There must be some truth in there. Not only that, but the scriptures, the manuscripts for the Bible are, thousands of years old, whereas the Quran was invented going on 600 years after the resurrection of Messiah. And so the thing is, if the Bible is not true at all, why would God leave mankind waiting and leave him in the lurch for for thousands of years before presenting the prophet Muhammad? What about the children of Jacob Israel? What about the birthright? Completely discounted. Albeit I have not read the Quran. I was looking for it online, and I'll tell you, I could not find an English version of it. I did find a German version, and I started looking at it, and there was such a long foreword to it, and it was written in this highfalutin language that masks, how ludicrous it is. But anyway, so I could not read. I have not read the Quran, but I've read about it, and I read a testimony of a young man on Quora not too long ago from Pakistan who was raised Muslim, went to a Christian church, and realized that God reveals himself in the Bible. And he believed in the Messiah because he said, in the Quran, it's all very, I think he used the word racist and very violent. And anyone who does not believe in Islam should be killed. And he said Messiah was completely different. Messiah healed the people, blind, deaf, dumb, issues of blood, raised the dead, raised himself from the dead. And this is something that the Islam does not account for. They what Islam says, and this is what the woman at the salon told me. She said, the thing is, Esau did not die on the cross, but somebody else who looked like him. So what they're saying is that the Bible is not true, and yet they're saying that the Quran is based on the Bible, and they believe in Esau. It's all it's very, very much contradictory. But if you're raised in that belief, it becomes entrenched. Now it's sprinkling. Oh dear, same old thing every day. I know where my horse lives, there's a little boy named Ali, and he is Muslim, and he'll tell you, I'm Muslim. And you're like, okay, what does that mean? He didn't really know. He talked a little bit about Allah, but he didn't know too much about it. And I said, well, I'm a Christian, and I know that the Muslims, where he is from Bosnia, are at swords points with the Serbians. And he was a darling little boy. He's going to be 9 in December. Very smart. Speaks English, speaks German, speaks, as he says, Bosnian, Serbo-Croatian, and very smart, gentle little boy. And I've just been praying, how can I witness to him? He invited me over, and I went to their place twice, and met his mom. And he took out the Quran and said, this is our holy Bible. I mean, how many people are the children of Jacob do you know that do that? You go to their house and they take their Bible out. And yet we have the truth and they don't. they do not believe that the Messiah resurrected. So when I was at the salon, I said, well, the thing is that God must always justify the scales and balances because he is righteousness and he is the law. That is why, for the sins of mankind, he had to come and let his creation kill him. Because he created them sinful. That he died for them, you see, so that there is no excuse. Nobody has an excuse anymore. And I don't, the thing is, she was trying to evangelize me, and I was trying to set her straight. But you never know, seeds might have been planted. Anyhow, so much for Islam, but I linked a book recently, and it's all about the Christian children of Jacob Israel who went to India and were slaughtered by the children of Islam. They showed absolutely no mercy, none. But it's the same with the Catholic Church, how they persecuted Christians in Europe and in England. It's the same thing. It's all Talmudic. You see, the Catholic Church covers for Talmudism, and the other obedient daughter of Talmudism is Islam. And of course, we've got Protestant, so-called Christianity, Reformed, Deformed, which teaches doctrines of demons as well. So what's my point? I started out talking about this propaganda here, and we're getting bludgeoned with it every day. They want your mind on these Jews and what victims they are, but a lot of people don't know that Warburg, Schiff, Kuhn, and Loeb, all Edomite bankers, schemed to start the war. There's a book about it. Warburg wrote a book himself. I'm not sure what the title of it is. I can't remember what his first name was. All I know is that Henry Macko sent me the book in order to do an article about it. And, I'm not a writer. God gives me a knack when there's something to be said. Otherwise, I can't just sit down and just start writing. I need a point. I need, it's like these videos. You have to have a point. You have to know what you're trying to say. And I didn't want to critique the book. So what I did was I translated it for him out of the German into the English, so that he could critique it. And as far as I know, he's never critiqued it. He just wants everybody else to do his work for him. You see, that's how Esau is toward Jacob Israel. You do what I tell you, then I'm going to blame you for doing it wrong, and you're going to be at fault. You see, because these religions, Talmudic Judaism, Catholicism, Christianity, Reformed, Deformed, Protestantism, Islam, Catholicism, they do not admit of being sinners. That's why their motto is, keep on sinning that grace may abound. They don't need a savior. If you don't need a savior, then you're not a sinner. You see, that's how that works. And that's what Islam is. They believe in Allah. And really the thing is, we should read, and I think I'm going to try to get my hands on it the next couple of days, maybe next week, on a Quran, and try to read some of it and just see what it's about. But anyhow, Messiah is risen. If he isn't risen, if he wasn't God, then we are not saved. That's what they do not believe, that Jesus is God. And I said, if Jesus is not God, then we are not saved. I said, God could not come down because God is a spirit, but he came down in the spirit to his son, Jesus. I need to get gas, so goodbye.